Okay guys, for the next step we're going to create a query. And this query is going to have the emails in it that our sales team are sending, and we're going to need a few aggregations to crunch that data down and make it easier for the sales managers to digest. So the first thing we're going to do is find the index that has the data in it. So I'm here on the Manage Indexes page, and you can see here is a profile index, and you can see it contains this email items type. So I'm going to click into that, and this is where you can just get to see some of the data. You can actually run ad hoc queries here, which is really a developer tool. You also get detailed information here about exactly what fields are in each type and the different parameters of them. But all we're going to do right now is create a query. Now I'm going to call this email summary 2. That's because I created one called email summary just a moment ago, but I'm going to create another one. So that's saved. So now I need to jump over to the queries page, and you can see the one I've just created here, email summary 2. Right, so the first tab here is the query. So the query is selecting which rows to include. So now the first thing we need to do is limit the rows to only email items. If we don't do that, then our query is going to include profiles and contact requests and all this other stuff. Okay, so we've done that. Now we're going to add another one. We need to filter it by date. Okay, we want our users to be able to select the date range. That means the query needs to be able to apply the date range. So it's send status date. That's the field that we want to limit by here, and we're going to choose between. Now you can see a little bit of text up here which tells you the main substitution variables, or the dynamic variables you can use. So I'm just going to copy and paste start date and end date in here. Okay. Now let's just save that, and we can look at the results here. Okay, I did something wrong. I think that might have been it. Let's try that. Okay, that's better. So now I can choose some fields over here. I can choose the domain, the subject, maybe the what else? The status, I think, would be a good one to see. Send status, and the send status date. Okay. You know what? Oh yeah. Okay, and then we click save. Alright, so there's the 4 fields I've selected. So this makes it easy to see the data that you're working with. There is one more criteria I'm going to add here, but we'll come back to that in just a moment. So, okay, now if you remember what we've got on our page, we wanted to see the email activity by week, email by domain, email by status. So that means we need 3 aggregations. The first one is going to be a date histogram, and we choose the field that's for, which is send status date, and I'm going to set an interval of week. Often you might use day, month, or year. Okay, and I'm going to add another one. This is going to use what we call the terms query. Terms aggregation. So what this does is it just looks for different values, just groups basically by the value. So we'll choose domain, and we've got to put a size in, so it's how many of the top results do we want to include. And I think the top 5 domains is probably all we need to see. No one really cares about the little ones. So I'm going to do another terms query. This one's going to be on the sending status. I'll do 5 as well, although there's usually only 2, and it's either complete or it's failed. You don't see many retries and things. So I save that, and you can see here on the, if you scroll down, it's actually executed it, so I can see the top domain here is mailinator.com. That's the one we use for testing, so I'm on a test server, that's why there's so many of them. Send status state, you can see here it's given me a number by each day or date. And send status, you can see those two values, completed and failed. Right. Okay, now there is the next criteria that we wanted. Now if I use this as it is, it's going to show me just all matching data, and it's going to show that to anyone who's logged in. Now the problem we've got with that is if I have sales managers in different regions or countries, I probably don't want them to see each other's data. I want them to see data that is relevant to them and their team. So I want to filter by their organizational hierarchy, and this is really common in Kademi. It happens happens every time. So this is baked in everywhere. And what we do is we use a field here called, where is this, the parent orgs. So there's usually a field like that. And we're going to say in reporting orgs. So reporting orgs is a dynamic variable which gets populated for the current user, and it lists every organization that they have permission to view reporting on. So usually, say in the situation of a sales manager, they'll just be the sales manager of one territory. But it's not impossible, it's not even that uncommon for someone to have permission for more than one organization in an organization hierarchy. And that's fine. This will allow for that. Alright, so I'm going to save that, and that'll run, and you can see its output loads of data, and everything is good. Now we'll see the effect of that when we connect it up to the front end, because that's where I'm going to log in as a user with a limited account, and I'll see different data. Alright, so that's it for the query, and the next slide we'll see connecting it up. Thank you.